Fish fam, it's Zach and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you aren't familiar with the term Fish fam, then head over to my Instagram and hit that follow button and then you will be a part of the Fish fam. Now, I look a little crazy. It's the contacts. I love wearing cosmetic lenses for looks and just in every day. These particular ones just make it look like your eyes are dilated, and they are by Contact Lens Hub over on Instagram. I do have a code for them. It's not an affiliate link, I think. I'll double check on that. If it is, I'll let you guys know in the description. But you can save 20% off with my code, so it'll be down in the link. They have tons of styles. They even have like the sclera lenses that cover your whole eyes, a bunch of circle lenses and everything like that. So definitely go check them out. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a full face of ColourPop. Now, before I started on my Instagram, I was mainly posting in Facebook groups with other beauty influencers, and I was known in one of the groups as the drugstore queen because I slayed the drugstore aisles. Now, ColourPop not necessarily is sold in a drugstore, but it is a very affordable brand. And before I get started, I want to say this video is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to use these products. I wanted to do this video for you guys. Before I keep rambling on, let's get right into the video. So I have already moisturized and washed my face. I shaved, I trimmed my beard, and now we're going to go in with the All-Star Blur and Mattifying Primer. Now, when I got the package, this package, I took a smell of this, and it smells very similar to the First Light by Becca, in that it has that fresh lemon smell, and I love that. And a little bit of this primer goes a long way, and it has that perfect amount of tackiness. Like, you start to feel it as soon as you begin to work it into your skin. And I mainly focus this on the parts where I have more pores, so right here on my cheeks and on my nose, and in the middle of my forehead. So for foundation, we are going to go in with the ColourPop No Filter Liquid Foundation. I didn't get the stick. I'm not a fan of stick foundations. The cap is a little dirty because I did try to film this video once before, and then I just ended up not liking the finished look, so I deleted all the footage, and we're starting over. So I have used this, and I actually really do enjoy it. It has a perfect amount of coverage for my liking. And today I'm going to do something a little different. If you know me from Instagram and everything, I use a sponge. I don't really use a brush. If I do use a brush, it's this one from the Wet n Wild Holiday brush set from last year. The one this year was a flat top like this. This particular brush is a Docolor brush, and I do have a discount code with Docolor. It is ZOTS. It'll be linked down below. And I'm going to try to use a brush for my foundation today. I don't really know how to use a foundation brush, and I get red to filth all the time for that, but we're gonna try. So I just went ahead and basically just applied the foundation. Now I'm gonna, I guess it's just for me, it's just very awkward to use a brush because I've always used a sponge, but I guess, you know, the more I practice with it, the more I'll like it. I just think I get the better coverage with the sponge. Now, this foundation does look a little pale. My lights are actually blowing it out really bad. In person, it's actually a really good match. They have a shade finder on the website, and I compared it to my Maybelline Fit Me, and they're the exact same. And if you look at my shoulder, I'm pale. So I'm not liking this with a brush. I tried. I will keep trying, but I'm going to go with my Ofra Perfecting Puff. This is my favorite sponge of the moment. So foundation is on. I'm now going to move on to concealer. Now, I love the No Filter Concealer. It is one of my favorites. When I first became an ambassador for ColourPop, I got to choose products, and I chose Fair 2. Now, this is like white. So I chose a little bit of a darker one that's not so stark. And I just love the way this concealer, the coverage is amazing. A little goes a long way. And it's, what, $9, $6? ColourPop is where it's at, sweets. That's all I gotta say. I'm not going to do any on my forehead because I'm not feeling extra today. So we are going to blend her in. Now, like I said, I don't look this, like in the viewfinder, I look like I'm dead in a casket. But in person, it's actually a lot more warm. It's just my lights, I guess they're too close. I even moved them back, but I still think they're too close. So I might have to work on my lighting situation when I move into my new apartment. Moving on to powder, I got the No Filter Setting Powder in Translucent. And my only issue with this powder is the size. When you compare it to... Oops. When you compare it to the Coty Airspun, it's more like a travel size. Now, if they had something similar to like the Coty Airspun or even the Pretty Vulgar setting powder and packaging-wise, I would love it even more, but this would be really good for travel. Now, I'm not knocking the powder. It's a great powder. I just wish the actual component was a little bigger. Now, this is a full Face of ColourPop video sans the rest of my face powder. I'm not going to set the rest of my face with a translucent powder because I like to add a little bit more warmth to my face. So I'm going to use my normal face powder off camera and I will be right back. So my powder is on camera. It looks a little in person. I look great. And that's all that matters. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the face. And I picked up the Afternoon Delight Pressed Powder Bronzer. And after I got it, because you know, shopping online, you never know what you're going to get until you actually get it. I could go a little darker. Plus, when I got it, it had like this weird film on the pan, and then I had to like break into it with like my brush. Anyway, so I'm going to use this as my bronzer, but I'm probably going to have to go in with something a little more warmer than what this is. Now, this is a really nice formula for bronzer, but like I said, I just needed to get a deeper shade. Because, like, I mean, it's looking, like, a little better. So, I am back. I went ahead and did my blush because I did not pick up a ColourPop blush. And I won't name the blush because this is a ColourPop video. Now, I'm not going to do my highlighting until the absolute end. So, I'm going to quickly do my brows off camera using the ColourPop Brow Color in Taken for Granted. And if you want to see a brow routine, please watch one of my previous videos. I will have it linked in the card as well as down below. And I will be right back. And I'm so sorry for all of, like, the interruptions or, like, the brief speeches. I will be back. Okay, brows are on, and it is a very interesting brow choice compared to my brow video. And that's because, I don't know, these contacts make me feel like an anime character, so I wanted, like, very exaggerated brows. I want to do, like, a creative, fun eye look, so I wanted the brows to match. Yeah, it's, like, kind of like, so I'm going to base my eyes with the No Filter Concealer in Fair 2. So, for the eyeshadow, I picked up two palettes by two of my most favorite people. The Bretman Rock Lip Palette, which is very much up my alley with the yellows, the reds, and the oranges. And then, of course, I had to get the iconic newly released Through My Eyes by iluvsarahii. Also has a beautiful warm shade selection, but it also has like this beautiful green, which reminds me a lot of Axis from the Subculture palette, and the yellow Wild Silver reminds me very much of New Wave. So I'm going to be working mainly with the Through My Eyes palette, and I might dab into one of the colors from the lip palette. So I went ahead and zoomed you guys in just a little bit. You like what I did there? And we're going to go ahead and go into the Through My Eyes palette. And I am going to start with the shade right here in the corner, Misbehave. Now, when I first filmed this, I used the green shade Moody. And then the yellow shade, which I'm still going to use the yellow shade today. But at the end, I just didn't like the look that I created with it, and this shade is beautiful. Now, I know that looks like a mess, but it's going to look like a mess before it gets better. So now I'm going to dive into the yellow shade Wild Soul and blend out that edge. This look is starting to remind me a little bit of ice cream, and I'm on a diet. Now on a flatter brush, I am going to be taking the shade Sandalwood and just applying that underneath the brow bone and blending it into the yellow. Taking a flat shader brush, I'm going to go back into the shade Misbehave and apply that on the inner and outer corner. We're doing a halo eye. And then I'm also going to take the darkest shade in the palette, Divina, and that's going to go on the inner corner first. I'm sorry. I have each side of the brush cutted. I hope I don't get confused. So for the center of the halo, I'm going to be taking the Jelly Much eyeshadow in Origami. It's this beautiful yellow gold. And I'm just going to be taking that on a really small concealer brush. This is also from Docolor, and it's the number 15. It's just so beautiful. Now, going back into the palette, I'm going to be taking the dark red shimmer shade Nocturne and putting that on either side of the yellow. Do you ever forget which side you put the product on? Or is that just me? So now we're going to work on the underside of the eye, and we're going to take that same Misbehave shade, and we're going to blend that from the outer corner to the probably about middle of the lower lash line. And then on a really small blending brush, we're going to go back into the yellow shade Wild Soul and place that on the inner part of the eye, as well as blend out the darker shade with it. Now that we have the lower lash line blended, I am going to take an angled brush and go back into the Jelly Much eyeshadow and get into the fun part. And we're going to continue the gold halo going down. And I'm going to apply this very haphazardly because I want it to look like, you know, makeup's been running, tears are falling. But I'm going to go back in with the Nocturne shade, and then on either side of this also shade with that, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the face after I do the other eye off camera. So I'm back, and yes, my eyes are a different color. Once I got done with this look and put the lash on, the black lens didn't really correlate, so I feel like these yellow lenses really give me the vibe I was feeling. These are like villain eyes. Like, I feel like I'm a villain in an anime. Like, I'm ready to, like, somebody's soul. I don't know. So now we're going to move on to my favorite part of the face, which is highlighting. And I got the This Is For You ColourPop Trio. And these are the shades. These are beautiful. And I'm going to be taking my favorite brush. This is the Cake and Glow brush from Veramona. The shade, I think I'm going to go in with this middle one, and then some of this one. Okay. Pigment, I'm here for it. This is stunning. I love this brush because it's like the perfect size, and it's like, it's flat, and it's also like a paddle. We are almost done. I am now moving on to the lips, and for the lips, I got the Bretman Rock lip kit. And the problem was, when I first recorded this video, I love this lip color. It just did not go with the look I was doing. The color matches with the color scheme. I just don't know if it'll be too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lip liner. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't line my lips. So I'm going to do like that anime type of eye. So I am going to take it and just apply this to the center of the mouth. And then quickly before that sets, take a clean blending brush and buff out the color. That way it's darker in the center and lighter on the outside. And I actually am living for it. I feel very villain. So I'm now going to go in with just a little bit of the gloss just on the center of the mouth and on the cupid's bow. Because that's where I like to concentrate my gloss. I like my bow to be poppin'. Now this is, first of all, it smells amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the applicator. That's all I will say. But the shade is gorgeous. And now I'm just going to blend out with my fingers. Alright guys, it is the final step. Setting spray. And this is the All-Star setting spray. And I love the way this smells. So I'm just going to step back. And this look is complete. So guys, this is the finished look. I know it's not a typical look you'd wear out, but I didn't want to do a typical look. I wanted to experiment. And I really love the way this turns out. I'm feeling my oats. I love everything. The only problem I had with is I picked too light of a shade with bronzer. But other than that, everything is a go. And like I've said in previous videos, I am an ambassador for ColourPop, so I do have a code and I will put it in the description box. You can use that. I don't make money off of it. It's just for you guys to use. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, ring that bell, get notified every time I upload. My name's Zach, this is the Fish Fam, and I love you guys.